All right, so we're diving into something a little different today.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're tackling those articles you sent over about Alison Sweeney.
Okay, yeah, I remember those.
It seems like everyone's been buzzing about her approach to, well, everything health and fitness.
Right. She's kind of got that insider perspective, doesn't she?
Totally. I mean, she was on Days of Our Lives forever.
And The Biggest Loser, right?
Yeah, for years. So she's not just some celeb with a quick fix, you know?
No, definitely not.
So we're going to break down her whole philosophy, see if there's anything we can actually, use.
That's the goal, right?
Actionable advice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because, let's be real, most celeb stuff is kind of...
Out there.
Yeah, exactly. But...
What's interesting with Alison is that she's all about those little changes.
Right. I noticed that.
Not some crazy crash diet.
Small steps, right?
Yeah, just like shifting your habits over time.
And it's not just like, drink more water. She gets really specific.
Well, yeah. But like how?
Like in one article, she talks about swapping out like a sugary drink at lunch.
But just like 2 days a week, you switch to diet soda or something.
So you're not going cold turkey.
Exactly. And then, a few weeks later, bump it up to 3 days and so on.
It's like easing into it.
Yeah, and she says that builds momentum.
Oh, I see. Like every little win keeps you going.
Makes sense, right? Like you're not setting yourself up for failure.
Right, right. Because if you tell yourself you'll never have soda again,
It's just not realistic.
totally. And then you feel bad when you slip up.
But this way, it's like you're proving to yourself you can make changes.
Yeah, small victories.
Okay, so small steps. Got it. What else stood out?
Well, she's big on food journaling, but not in the way you might think.
Oh, yeah, that caught my eye, too.
A lot of people think it's all about counting calories and getting obsessed.
Right.
But Allison's approach is more about understanding why you eat.
Okay, I like
It's like figuring out, are you actually hungry or are you stressed or bored?
Makes you more aware.
Exactly. Once you know your triggers, you can make better choices.
So it's less about judgment and more about being mindful.
Exactly. And if the whole food journal thing feels kind of intense,
Yeah, it can be a lot for some people.
there are other ways to tune in to your body's cues.
Right, like actually asking yourself, am I hungry? Or just eating out of habit.
That kind of thing.
And she's all about making healthy food enjoyable, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's not about choking down sad salads.
No way. She actually loves trying new recipes and stuff.
There was a whole thing about her experimenting in the kitchen.
Yeah, and she even found this Thai coconut curry soup on Pinterest.
That she raved about.
I know, it's like she wants to prove healthy eating doesn't have to be boring.
Right. It's about finding what you genuinely like.
Because let's face it, if you hate what you're eating,
You're not going to stick with it.
nope, no way. Oh,
Yeah.
and what about her take on New Year's resolutions?
Oh, that was interesting.
It's like she's not a fan.
I think she finds them too rigid, you know?
Yeah, it's that all or nothing thing.
Right. Like, I will not eat sugar
Right.
ever again.
Which is setting yourself up for what?
Failure.
Exactly.
So she prefers these things called positive affirmations.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What are those?
Well, it's about focusing on what you want to achieve.
So instead of saying, I won't eat junk food,
You might say, I'm choosing to nourish my body with healthy, delicious meals.
okay, I see. It's like a different way of thinking.
It's about building yourself up, not tearing yourself down.
Yeah, I like that. It seems like her whole thing is about the long game,
Totally. It's not about some quick fix. It's about sustainable changes.
which honestly makes so much more sense when you think
Yeah,
about it.
downsides of yo-yo dieting.
Yeah.
It can really mess with your metabolism, you know?
And I bet it's hard on you mentally too.
Oh, absolutely. It's
Yeah.
like you're on this constant up and down.
And it feels like you're failing all the time.
Exactly. And that's where Allison's approach is so refreshing.
Yeah, she's not about deprivation at all.
No, she actually encourages indulging now and then.
Really?
Yeah, as long as it's mindful, you know? Like there's this part where she talks about enjoying a glass of wine
Oh,
or having a slice of cake without beating yourself up about it.
it's like she gives herself permission to enjoy things.
Exactly. It's all about balance.
I mean, it's kind of cool to hear a celebrity talk like that.
Especially someone who's been so into the whole fitness world.
Yeah, it's like she gets it.
And it ties into this whole idea of, what do they call it?
Flexible dieting.
Yeah, that's it.
I've heard of that.
It's basically about creating a healthy eating pattern.
But with room for, the good stuff.
Exactly. You're not labeling foods as like good or bad
You're just making choices that work for you.
most of the time.
So it's not about never having pizza again.
It's about figuring out how to enjoy it without going overboard,
Right, so you don't feel deprived.
and you don't feel guilty.
Which honestly is a pretty good message.
We could all use a little less guilt around food, right?
Okay, so stepping back for a sec, what would you say are the big takeaways?
from Alison's approach?
Yeah, like what really stands out to you?
I think the biggest thing is that it's not about being perfect.
I was going to say that.
It's not about punishing yourself or striving for some crazy ideal.
It's about finding what works for you.
Exactly. It's about creating a lifestyle that you can actually stick with.
So it's about progress, not perfection.
Exactly. And it's not just about weight loss either.
It's about your overall well-being.
Yeah, having energy, feeling good in your own skin.
And just creating a way of life that supports your health long term.
And she really emphasizes the enjoyment factor too.
Which I love.
It's not about being miserable while you're trying to be healthy.
No way. It's about finding things you enjoy and making them part of your routine.
And making it sustainable, right?
So bringing it back to our listener, what's one piece of advice we can offer?
Based on all this,
Yeah, like something actionable they can actually do.
I'd say start with that small steps mentality.
Okay, I like that.
Think about one tiny change you can make today. Maybe swapping that sugary drink for water a couple times a week. Or trying that new recipe you saw but thought was too healthy.
Or even just paying attention to your portion sizes.
Right, just one small thing that feels doable.
Not overwhelming.
Because honestly, those little wins can really add up.
Yeah, you start to build that momentum.
And you realize you can make changes.
And then maybe that one change leads to another.
And another and another.
And before you know it,
you've got a whole new set of healthy habits.
that feel good and make you feel great.
And hey, don't forget, there are tons of resources out there too.
Oh yeah, if you need help.
Don't be afraid to reach out to a dietitian or join a support group.
There are online communities too.
Exactly. You don't have to do this alone.
I think it's so easy to compare ourselves to,
Oh, yeah?
like those perfect people we see online.
All over social media.
It's like, come on, that's not real life.
It's so important to remember everyone's different.
Right.
What works for Alison might not work for someone else.
And that's okay.
Totally. It's about finding what fits your life,
Your goals, your preferences.
your body.
So for everyone listening out there,
Yeah.
what's your small step?
Like if you had to pick one thing,
What could you do today that would make you feel
a little bit healthier,
a little more in control?
more energized,
Maybe it's taking a walk at lunch.
or adding some extra veggies to your dinner.
Or just being more mindful about how much you're eating.
Whatever it is, don't underestimate it.
It might seem small, but
It could be the start of something big.
exactly. And remember, progress over perfection.
Oh, that's so important.
There will be days when you slip up.
We all have those days.
But it's not about being perfect
It's about getting back on track.
and being kind to yourself.
Self-compassion is key.
It's a journey, not a sprint, right?
A marathon, not a sprint.
And you know what's really inspiring about Alison?
What's that?
She's been living this way for years.
It's not just a phase.
It's her lifestyle
And that's the goal.
to make healthy living a part of who you are.
Not something you force yourself to do.
It's about finding that balance.
Feeling good, looking good, enjoying life.
So to everyone listening, embrace those small steps.
Celebrate the wins.
And remember, you've got this.
You have the power to create a healthier, happier you.
And maybe you'll inspire someone else along the way.
Spread the good vibes.
That's what it's all about. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
It's been fun.
And remember, you've got this.